best believe I'm still bejeweled when I walk in the
room.
room.
To make the whole place shimmer.
Soup? Soup? Seriously? Soup.
I feel like I always carry around a lot of drinks at the
You
same
do,
time.
but you don't finish them. It's infuriating, honestly. This is actually an intervention. Everybody come on in. I have all of Chris's closest friends and family here.
No one.
That's rude to yourself.
I know. I'm sorry, self.
No, but she has a problem. It like nothing ever gets finished. It's a waste of resources. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah. You like honestly, like whenever we work together and we like eat lunch together or something, and I'm like done with my food within like 10 to 15 minutes, which is like still fast, but that's a normal time. I think like most people should take longer to eat, but don't. So I feel like I fit in the realm of normal food eaters. You take a solid like hour to finish your food. You take a bite like every 7 minutes. And it's so annoying. And then you like drink your coffee like for the whole day.
Because I like to make it last. I like to have it through the whole day.
I don't understand that. I mean, I understand the thought behind it, but I don't understand like the activity of it. Because I am just such a chugger. Like I literally, we went out to eat with Ian's brother and his fiance on Sunday. And I went through, like, no joke, like 4 glasses of water.
Are you serious?
While we were eating lunch. Like, I drank, and I thought of this conversation that we were going to have because I was like, this is, because, like,
if it were me, I would maybe drink, I think it's surprising when I finish one glass of water at a restaurant.
That is so wild to me. Maybe it's because they fill it up for me, like, before it's, like, empty.
Maybe.
Like,
well, but then that would even mean that you're getting it down to probably, like, a quarter left, but they never fill mine up because I never get it low enough for them to do that.
I drink a lot, especially at restaurants where the food is, like, saltier, I feel like. I do drink a lot of water. But I'm kind of on a health journey trying to do things for my health, which is ironic considering the segment we're about to go into. But
hey, you gotta
one of those things that I'm trying to do is drink a gallon of water every day, which a gallon is like I thought was very ambitious. I was like,
I think a gallon's ambitious.
Most people don't start with just a gallon. Like people work up to it by like, I'm going to drink like 2 water bottles a day or like whatever it is. A gallon is nothing.
Are you kidding me?
A gallon is absolutely like I have to be intentional about it. Like I don't just naturally drink a gallon of water in a day, but it's easy. It is very easy for me to drink a gallon of water in a day.
I've never been so mad at you.
This is how I feel about you not drinking water. Is I'm just like, why is it taking so long?
I just recently lowered my goal from a gallon because I could maybe get a gallon once every 2 weeks, if that. So I lowered it down to like 80 ounces or something. Still no.
On my not trying days, I get 100 ounces. Easy.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a habit or is it like, do you actually feel thirsty?
I think some of it is habit at this point. There are definitely days where I don't drink as much water. Like today I haven't had very much water. I've had like one 24-ounce water bottle and then I had like a drink with my lunch. And I had like a coffee and then like so like I haven't been like after my goals today.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, drinking a gallon of water because I have a water bottle that is 24 ounces and I fill it up 5 times a day, and so it's 120 ounces. And then the extra 8 ounces because a gallon is 128 ounces. So the spare 8 ounces I usually get like I'll count it in like a soda that I'll have or like a glass of tea or water or not water, my cup of like coffee or tea or whatever extra beverage I have in the day. I count it towards my like fluid goal, but I get 120 ounces of just straight water in a day. So maybe someone will think that's cheating. But if it's not like from like a store, like a processed drink, like if I'm drinking like a tea or a water or something.
Right,
like,
yeah.
I keep saying water. I can't talk. A tea or coffee. Mm-hmm. That's going to be 8 ounces. And I'm like, this counts to me.
Do you know some days I think I literally have lived days where I haven't drank any water.
I think that's normal.
You think that's normal?
Well, if you're just not paying attention, like I'm generally trying to pay attention at this point, at this juncture. Yeah, I am keeping track of it. So maybe it is just habit, but it never feels like, oh man, I can't drink any more water. Like this is like too much. Like I'm constantly just like finishing it off and being like, I'm ready for another one. Like
I wish, because I feel so much better when I drink more water. And my body feels so much better, but I don't know what it is. It's like this limiter thing where I just kind of hit this wall and I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I get that.
But I do know that I have had to learn over the years that I just take a long time to drink beverages, especially if they're hot. Mm-hmm. So I've had to learn through different circumstances that, like, I will honestly, I was at Universal with some of my family a couple years ago, and they had a Starbucks in the, like, hotel that we were staying at, which was, like, on the Universal campus. So we could walk to the parks or take, like, you know, inner park transit to get there. And we would go to Starbucks, like, every day. And I would have to, like, focus because I would want to get a drink, you know, but then you have to throw it out before, like, you can't take the drink into the park with you. So I had until from when we hit the Starbucks until we got to the park, which in time is probably 20 minutes, maybe, if that. Panic. Like I would have to actually make sure, like, chug, like, you, like, take big sips, but it's also really hard because when I get hot drinks, I can't drink them right away because they're too hot and they burn my tongue. Yeah. So it's just like I will literally get in that zone where I have to, like, actually map out, like, okay, do I have enough time to get a hot drink right now? Like, I think there have been a couple times where people, like, if they're taking me to the airport in the morning, they're like, do you want to stop for coffee? I'm like, no, because I won't have enough time to enjoy it. I will just have to chug it because I won't want to get rid of it, but I can't take it through security.
Never been a problem that I've had.
I don't.
So cute of you, though. So cute and dainty.
I also do the same thing when I'm in the airport and I want a coffee while I'm waiting.
I need at least 3 hours. 3-hour layover, please.
But I always want to take it on the plane with me because I want to sip it on the plane. But then if I have a carry-on with me, then I can't do it because then I panic about where I'm going to set my drink when I have to put my carry-on in the overhead. Because, like, I can't just do it with one hand, so I have to set the coffee down. But then it's like, do I hand it to a random stranger and be like, hey, can you hold my coffee for a second? Or do I, like, set it on the seat and then, like, what if it tips over? And it's just like
that actually does sound really stressful.
This, like, cumbersome thing that, like, you have to hold on to it. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of a bummer because I would love to sit on a plane and just sip my coffee, like, good coffee, not plain coffee, not airplane coffee.
Gotcha.
Which is basically plain coffee, which I don't like. So
plain coffee is plain coffee.
Is plain coffee, yeah. That's a no go for me.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't remember when I realized that you were a chugger, but it's definitely, like, I think that it's just very obvious when we're together that, like, we are, like, I think we just both, like,
I think it became obvious when you realized that you were a sipper, and by contrast, I am a chugger. I don't think that me being a chugger is a realization in of itself. I think it was simply a foil to your stingy sipping.
To me, it's like, whoa, why are you drinking that so fast? But, like, you're probably drinking it like a normal person.
I don't want to get into it, but I do drink. Like, I feel like it probably has something to do with my just appetite for food and beverage, and something that I'm trying to rectify within myself.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I gulp.
I mean, like, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense if you would get something. Like, I do the same thing with food.
Drinks for me
when
are
I'm
always
working.
gone too fast. Like I'm always like, oh, like it's the bottom of the cup already. Chris also does this weird thing where she takes the tops off of her coffees and drinks it like from the cup. Like it's not that weird, but it's weird when you see her do it every time and you realize that no one else does this.
I do.
And so she takes like the plastic top off of her like coffee shop coffee and then sips from the cup.
I hate that.
So the liquid is just out.
I hate that little hole in the cup. It's like it never works for me well.
Does too much liquid come out of it?
No, it's like
Does it force you to drink too quickly?
No, in fact, the opposite. I feel like it impedes my ability to get the amount of liquid that I want in my mouth, and I feel like somehow the airflow matters, or it impedes the airflow somehow. So then I feel like it's almost like a bottle where you have to like, I don't know.
Like a little baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just like, get this out of here.
Interesting.
I don't know. I know. I do that like every time.
You really do.
But I need it for the car because if I don't have the top on it, then it'll spill.
Well, yeah.
Until it gets to a certain level, then I can just leave it off. And I've done that. I actually used to, when I was working for that cleaning company a couple years ago, I used to do this like years before that too, but I was in a phase where I would make my coffee at home and put it in like one of my ceramic mugs because I have a mug problem. I love mugs and I have a bunch of different ones and I want to use them.
I mean, is it a problem? I don't
think
so. I love mugs.
I do too. So instead of using the same to-go cup every day, I'm like, I want to use my mugs that I love so much. So I would take an open glass mug into my car every day and drive with it and sip on it. And
you also eat in the car.
I do.
And like as I've mentioned before on the podcast, we use this app called Marco Polo. So we'll send like videos of each other. Yeah. Like back and forth. Like to communicate. And I feel like especially when you were working for the cleaning company, you'd have like a full like cereal bowl of like something like that you're eating for breakfast and you're just eating it in the car as you're driving. I cannot eat while driving.
I know.
I just can't.
That honestly floored me. The first time I really realized it actually was the time when you and Ian came to Ohio and we went to Cedar Point. The first time I really realized that you guys don't like eat and drive.
Ian does.
Okay, well that day we didn't for some reason, but we went to Chick-fil-A and got breakfast
and we pulled over
into a parking spot and I was like, what are we doing?
Like, no, Ian was driving, but he definitely doesn't prefer to eat while driving. Like if he can take a few minutes
that's so funny because I'm like, no, like I almost do prefer it.
I cannot. Like it's just so stressful to me. Like absolutely not. Like oh my gosh. Especially if it's something that requires a utensil.
Yeah, like that can get pretty tricky.
I don't want that.
Actually, it's funny that you say that because on my way here today, I ate a salad while I was driving here. That's
ridiculous.
No, but see, I
can eat an apple while driving. I just figured that out yesterday. I can eat an apple.
That's where you gotta start somewhere.
I almost threw an apple core at someone's car.
Oh my god!
Because I rolled the window down to throw it in the grass, and there was someone in my blind spot, and I was like about to do it, and then I looked at my blind spot, and there was a car right there, and it would 100% have hit their windshield. That would have been
so funny.
Maybe.
Do you know my dad does this thing where cause he eats apples all the time and exclusively
even though he's a doctor, which is like so counterintuitive.
What do you mean?
An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
I was like, what?
How does he keep himself away? What kind of existential crisis is he having?
Yeah.
He's trying to ward himself off.
Chad, are you okay?
Blink twice, Chad.
No, he exclusively eats Fuji's and he has the PLU number memorized. You know that little produce number, that 4-digit produce number that's on all the produce?
Never in my life have I noticed that.
They have, each fruit has its own PLU number.
PLU?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, and he has it memorized.
That's ridiculous.
Anyway, so he eats apples a lot, okay? And that's like his car snack. And when he's done, he will try to find like a flatbed trailer or a like pickup truck or something and throw the core into the back of the car.
This man.
And I'm like, honestly, I do think a lot of the things he does a lot of the time are really funny, but that's one that I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
it's just a menace. Just a societal menace.
I don't know. It's just a funny.
I mean, I guess it's like pretty harmless. Like,
right. Like it's biodegradable.
Yeah.
And
also, I was thinking about this yesterday, speaking of it being biodegradable, of the first time Ian ever saw me throw a core out of the window while we were driving. And he was like, that's littering. And I'm like, it's not.
It biodegrades. Oh my gosh.
Like, it will turn into soil. And he was like, no, it's littering.
I had the exact same conversation with some people when I was playing pickleball about a banana peel.
Really?
The lady was like, I feel bad for littering. And I was like, it's a banana peel. You're not littering.
Right.
And they're like, well, and I'm like, no,
it will nourish the soil.
From the earth to the earth. You get one wife.
That's why I want to degrade on a pile of wood chips.
Seriously. Okay, honestly.
I do. Okay.
We should actually... Are we going to talk about that right now?
I don't know. Should we?
I don't know.
Okay, so here's my official plan for when I die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding. But so...
If I die...
I just scared Chris bad. We'll have to play that back.
We will.
Okay, no, but I read this book years ago. Side tangent. This episode's gonna be all about me, guys.
Notes.
I'm gonna just go off about all the things that mean the most to me.
Please do.
Personally. And one of them is this book that I read, and it's called Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. And it's of the memoir of this woman who worked at a crematorium.
Oh my god.
It's so good. Guys, read it.
Smoke Gets in Your
It's called
Eyes.
Smoke Gets in Your Eyes.
Oh my gosh, that is actually a little morbid.
It is pretty morbid.
Ew.
But it's not like dark, and it's I mean, it's as dark as
like
death
burning
is.
people's bodies, smoke
That's
in
what
your eyes.
happens, people. What do you think happens when you die?
It's just weird thinking about it getting in someone's eyes.
Yeah, absolutely it's in your eyes.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it just is a really good book. It's not faith-based, so if you are a faith-based person and that's really important to you, don't read it, but just go into it. I feel like if I say that, some people who know me might expect it to be faith-based.
Sure.
But it's not. It's an undisclosed person who doesn't. But it talks a lot about death and about facing death and how our culture is so weirdly detached from death and how like we don't think about it. We don't discuss what we want done with our remains. We don't make plans for ourselves, and we're so constantly afraid of it that it's like taboo to talk about. And she doesn't say this in the book, but I think that's unbiblical and ungodly, but also like it just doesn't make sense, like, because it's something we're all gonna go through and experience, and like might as well face it like with an understanding and with an empathy and like go forth with an understanding of what it means. But that's my book recommendation for
I love
the pod is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. It's by Caitlin Dowdy, and I highly recommend. It's very good. But she talks about all the different things that you can do when you die, and I honestly think it would be so cool to like they're very niche. Like, this is not a widely available thing. So I feel like it would be too difficult for whoever has to deal with me when I die, like to try to get my body to one of these very rare, like parks, I guess, or whatever area they use to do like a green burial, or like a green decomposition, basically where they have like a sectioned off area of like land where they will put like essentially like fertilize you. Like they'll put your body out and like monitor it and whatever, but like basically just let you decompose naturally.
Wow.
And then you're like
in the ground or above the ground?
I think it depends on which one, but one of them is like above the ground, because your family can get the soil in like a couple of years. Like they'll process the like not just like leave you out there, but they'll like curate the process so that you'll turn into like plantable soil. Weird. And then your family can get the soil and then like plant a tree in your soil or like whatever. I just think that's so cool. I really want that. I know that would be so difficult and probably more money than it's worth to actually do it. So my secondary plan is to be cremated. So
really?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this on the podcast because I really don't think this is in good taste. I think it would be too startling for people for me to go into what the book talks about. But if the alternative to being cremated is being embalmed, I would not prefer that. I don't think being embalmed, I don't think there's anything, if that's your choice.
Yeah,
it's
right.
your body, your choice. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
But if you want to be embalmed, if your loved ones have been embalmed, great. That's super awesome. But it's maybe not super awesome. I don't know what I'm talking about.
When you say embalmed, you mean like the generic, basically, like the
what
process
most people
do,
yes.
which is
in a casket. That part of, I'll just summarize a little bit of what you talked about. Yeah, all right, you're pulling my leg. I'll talk about it. But basically, just in talking about our culture's like relationship with death, like how heavy, like just the standard of embalming is, and like that's just kind of what people have done. Like you just if your loved one dies, like they're probably going to get embalmed and you're going to put them in a casket and bury them. Like that's just what's going to happen. And just that is a very like new process for the world. Like that is not how the rest of the world has dealt with death for like the existence of human life.
Right.
And so embalming, this is such a fun fact. Oh, fun factoid. Embalming was invented to help soldiers in the Civil War help their bodies not to decompose too quickly so that they could be buried by their families. So they would be transported from the battlefield to their families. And someone, I don't remember the name of the person, but invented the embalming process to ensure that they were able to have a funeral with their families.
Right.
So it was actually a really cool, like, kind thing to do.
Yeah.
But
in that context,
because they would be traveling for days and days and days, and like that's just not possible to stay intact. But now we don't do that. Like you die and you go straight to the funeral home. Like obviously there's exceptions to that, but just the need to be embalmed is not really there. Like you don't need to be so preserved that you don't decompose in a natural way. And so like we have this process done that's very expensive, and typically people aren't ready for that expense, like their family or themselves. And so you pay this expense to put someone into the ground where they will not decompose naturally. And like again, if that's like, this is not a shameful, like I don't want to come across like I'm like this is the bad way to do it, because it's not. It's part of the cultures, like what we've started doing. But I think it's worth re-examining, like just the default of like, is that what we want to do with ourselves? Because there's no real reason for it. It's really expensive, and it's also like you can't use that ground ever again, because like the casket will take forever to, because they're waxed up and like aren't gonna just like fall apart, and then like they're usually inside of a metal box to keep them preserved, and then like the human body itself is embalmed, so it's not like it.
It's like, why are we working so hard to preserve these things that are supposed to decompose? Because
and her theory was that it's fear based, of just like we're so unwilling to confront this process that we're like just fighting so hard against it. It's just interesting.
Yeah, I would even go as far as to say that I have an inkling that a big influence is money too. Like if you know you can get a lot of money out of embalming people, and if that's just the accepted normal practice, then why would you advocate for something different if that's...
Well, that's another cultural thing that she talks about in the book. I'm just plugging this book so hard. It's so good. But like up until a couple hundred years, like not super long ago, like around the 1800s, like when your family member died, like you were responsible for cleaning them and burying them. Like it was your family who did that. And it was only very recently in society have we started paying companies or funeral homes, that what they're now known as, to do it for us. And so like the rest of the world, and for the duration of time, you're forced to reckon with your loved ones dying and your impending death, essentially. And now we're able to pass it off to somebody else, and someone else is able to make money off of it. Like, like before, people weren't making money off of death and funerals. Like the family just did it themselves. And so it is just interesting how as a society we've turned this really personal process into something that makes a lot of money and doesn't do anything for the earth, or it's just interesting. Anyway, let's try some cookies.
Well, no, it's actually interesting that we talk about this, because I was having a conversation with my family last weekend about how we just feel like people don't really, like, quote unquote, do funerals. Like, we feel like the practice of even doing funerals is kind of weaning itself away. And I don't know, I think some of it has to do with COVID because of all of the restrictions that were in place, and I think people just got out of the habit of gathering together for funerals like really quickly after someone's has died. But and even on the flip side of that, like even wedding receptions and like wedding celebrations, it's like it just seems like the act of gathering as a community around these big life events is becoming more optional or less, or people, I just get the sense that some people are getting a little more like blasé about it, like, oh, it doesn't really matter, like, or it's not as important and it's not as emphasized. And I don't know, I just think there's a part of the funeral process especially that gives you some closure, and it's kind of one of those ritualistic things that I think we're kind of losing the meaning of, like, or the purpose behind like why we do it. And I wonder if some of that has to do with like, well, we just don't really talk about death then, like, and we don't, it's just this taboo thing that, and then the thing about it too is if you're older and then you die and then you never talk about it, then you leave this burden on the people around you that they don't know what you wanted and they don't have the money to even do the things that
my mom is really into this thing called Swedish death cleaning.
What?
We've been talking about it a lot actually, because my grandfather passed away just a few weeks ago, and so we've just been talking. I've just been, you know, kind of after my parents a little bit more about like, hey, like, what do you want us to do?
Sure, absolutely.
But my mom heard about this thing called, I think it's called Swedish death cleaning, and I don't know why it's specifically Swedish, but basically it's just the practice of like once you hit middle life, like starting to clean out your stuff.
Yeah.
Like basically like that, organizing your stuff, like getting rid of things that you don't need when you're still physically able to do it.
That, yes.
And not leaving your family with a bunch of stuff, and just like kind of getting your affairs in order while you're still able to.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of a cool thing. Also, what you were saying earlier just reminded me of something of just like how this was supposed to be our palate cleanser episode. We were like, last week was so like kind of heavy and like,
oh my gosh,
and then we're like, let's do a little palate cleanser, and now here we are literally talking about death. No, but I feel
death
like
and dying
as a society, like we live in a society. No, but like in my degree program I do a lot of like reading about like biblical times. So like my history of the world is not great, but my history like around the Bible I have a little bit of knowledge of, and it's just like the culture shift from being like a group dynamic culture to an individual dynamic culture is extremely prevalent. Like it just makes such a difference, and I think there are some good things about that. Like I think that it's good to I feel like God wants an individual relationship with each of us, and I don't think that people in biblical times had the capacity to receive that, and so God spoke to them in a way that they were able to receive. But I think that it's cool that we're in a time where we can receive individual relationship with God. But like like group things like funerals or weddings, or just like any kind of family, like kind of responsibility. And again, I think there's some healthy things about that of like, it's okay to detach from your family. It's okay to not carry your family's burdens. But like we just, for so long, humans worked within a group dynamic, and you won as a group and you failed as a group. Right. You celebrated, you mourned as a group. And now we're so individualistic that I think it has seeped into our death practices as well, of just like a lot of distancing and a lot of like,
and I would argue it even starts as parents start aging and adult children who either cannot or don't want to or don't have the means, or like, you know, there obviously are a lot of different circumstances for a lot of different people, but even at the start when your parents are maybe needing like a nursing home or something, like you kind of just ship them off there, and then you know, like,
because it's not your responsibility to care for your parents anymore. Like,
exactly,
for thousands of years in cultures around the world, you were the person who had to take care of your parents.
Yeah.
Like, there was no other option.
Yeah.
Like, you took care of your parents when they were old.
And there are the instances, of course, where that, certain people need that, like, all the time care.
Like, it's not
like,
always a bad thing, but
right,
it's just,
exactly.
it's worth noting the differences of just, like, how these shifts affect us as a culture in both positive and negative ways.
Yeah.
One positive culture change that I am so happy about is the culture change of Crumbl cookies.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were going to take it to the Taylor Swift.
Oh,
release.
I should have done that. I was going to do cookies first.
I was like, is this seriously how she's transitioning this right now? And then you did it. And I was like, no, there's no way. And then, yep, okay.
Okay, well,
we can do that.
I texted Chris that the two things I wanted to talk about, because we decided we wanted to do palate cleanser. And I'm like, I want to try Crumbl cookies and I want to talk about Taylor Swift. And so those are the things that I wanted to talk about.
We did not previously discussing death.
No, we
just
didn't.
FYI, so that I don't even know how that came up, but there it is.
It'll be a good title though.
I know, right? Okay, so are we trying to
due to popular demand,
are we trying to Crumbl cookie?
Our Tim Tam segment was just so popular. We had so many people writing in.
We really
saying,
did. It was crazy.
Girls, we just love hearing you guys eat some cookies.
We love the mouth sounds.
We love the mouth sounds.
That was a
I
quote.
got several messages about the mouth sounds.
Yeah, and I think that goes along with our unofficial motto, which is weirdly intimate.
Yes, weirdly intimate. I don't even know if she saw that Instagram post.
She did.
Oh, okay, she did.
Yeah.
But we have a mutual friend who told Chris that our podcast is weirdly intimate.
Yeah,
and we were like, that is our new
it's perfect.
Like, I feel like on our can of soup that we're suddenly going to design, it has Wheezes guaranteed, and then it also has weirdly intimate.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Okay, so I think though that we have to have a rating system for these Crumbl cookies.
Should we do 5 or 10? Out of 5 or out of 10?
I feel like out of 5.
Yeah.
But I feel like we should have like texture, or you know what I'm saying?
That's too much for me.
Too much? Okay. All right. Just 5, just 1 out of 5.
No, you go off, because I'm going to go off about Taylor Swift and have lots of thoughts. Okay. So you go in with lots of thoughts about the Crumbl
I'm going to
cookies.
go in hard for the cookies.
Where's my phone?
IDK.
I'll find it later.
Do you need it?
No, but it has my rankings on it.
Oh, well, then
for
you
later.
need it.
But we're doing cookies right now,
okay,
so we're good. So this week, as if you're listening to this when we release it, these will still be the flavors for the next like 24 hours. Yeah. So if our review means anything to you,
this is not sponsored, by the way, but
I just really wanted to try.
What if Crumbl Cookies sponsored us?
Shut up. I love how we have like 20 listeners, and it's like we're blowing up.
We had quite a few downloads this week.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So exciting.
People are still downloading old episodes too.
People are slurping the soup, guys. Only Chris can do that. That's so good. Okay. So we only got 4 of the flavors.
Because the other 2 were.
I kind of was interested in the red velvet one.
Were you? I was gonna ask you that. Because thought. Because I was going to say like either PB or red velvet, but then
in my selection I would have gotten rid of the birthday cake and had the red velvet in. Anyway, so I'll tell you which ones we got. We got the maple sandwich, the birthday cake Oreo, the cinnamon square, and the peanut butter chocolate chip.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 that we're going to be trying today. The maple, have you ever had these cookies, like the maple sandwich cookies?
The little ones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're so good. So if you haven't had those.
Like they're shaped as actual maple leaves?
Yeah, they're shaped like little maple leaves, and they're like shortbread cookies with like
From Canada.
From Canada. And
so good.
Ian and I drove from like Indiana down, and so we had to drive through Kentucky, and Ian just was like saying words wrong to make me laugh, and we passed through Paducah, and he was like, Paducah. He's like, oh yes, the city of Paducah. And I laughed about it for a really long time. Aww. Anyway, so the maple cream.
No. You want to do that one first?
Oh no, what do you mean? No, I was just testing you.
No, are you a person who likes to go for the thing you want most first,
or the thing you want? Like this is what I feel like goes back to the chugging versus sipping thing. It's because
I think we're opposite this way.
I 100, and I feel like this also, like, to you it's like, oh haha, this is so funny, and I'm like, I feel like this speaks to something deeply wrong with me.
Why?
I chug my drinks and I also eat the thing I want most first, and then I'm left with things I don't want.
Well, I think. Well,
our mutual friend Ashton, who actually introduced us to each other, I told her that one time. I was like, yeah, like I never save what I want. Like I always, I know so many people who do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I always eat the thing that I want first.
Yeah.
And she's just like the sweetest angel human person.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, like it means you go after for what you want. And like, you're not afraid to do stuff. She was trying to make it into this like sweet character thing.
I think that's true.
It's not. It means I'm greedy.
No, because I think, honestly, for me, sometimes I think that I do that when I don't have to. Like I save the thing I want for last and I don't have to do that, but it's like now it's this like compulsory thing that,
you know, there's this other podcast that I love, the other podcast besides our podcast, but it's called Books Unbound. It's a book podcast.
Okay.
But they have this category of books that they call mashed potato books.
Ooh.
And basically they like talk about how they save their mashed potatoes for last, like on their plates, like for holidays and stuff, because it's their favorite thing.
Yeah.
But by the time you get to it, it like doesn't taste as good anymore because it's not warm.
Yeah.
So it's like a book that you're saving to read because you think you'll really like it, but then you end up reading it and it's like not hitting the same as if you had just gone ahead and read it.
That is a really good idea.
There's these things called mashed potato books, and I think it's just an interesting thing to think about, of like the thing that you love and want so bad, but then like you wait too long.
You like make yourself wait for it, because I think sometimes I do that because I think it's more humble or noble or what, like it's like if
I save this cookie, I'm humble.
showing myself that I have self-control, and but it's like, do I have to do that every time? I don't know, but I also I do like having the thing that I really want last, but then sometimes it is disappointing, and then you're like, so I don't know.
I just always go for it first.
It's all
anyway. Okay. So if we're going by that metric, let's do the birthday cake first.
That's what I was gonna say.
All right. I like it. It's good.
I'm gonna say a 3 out of 5.
I think 2.5 for me.
Really? Wow, that's so interesting. I don't
really like birthday cake things.
Really? That's
usually,
so
if something's branded as like a birthday cake flavor,
you're like, nah.
It's not usually something I'll love.
See, that's interesting because I don't usually like it either, but because
you were stoked about this. You were like, the birthday cake.
I know. I threw it on the ground. I really wanted this because the chocolate cookie that we had last time, what was that one, like the cookies and cream?
Oh yeah, it was like a chocolate cookies and cream.
That one was so good, and so I really honestly just wanted the chocolate cookie.
Yeah,
again.
so this is actually an Oreo birthday cake, which I do like more. I like the flavor of the Oreo, and the frosting is cream cheese frosting, which I think is better than if it were just regular frosting.
See, that's funny because I was gonna say I would take the cookie. I could leave the icing.
I think the icing, I'm just saying it's better than the alternative, which would just be like a white icing. Like I prefer a cream cheese icing.
The chocolate, I'm not usually chocolatey things are not usually my go-to, but there are some certain just really intense chocolate things that I love, and this is one of them. Like just the cookie, not the
frosting.
Not the frosting, yeah.
All right, well, let's try the peanut butter chocolate chip.
Yeah, solid.
This is the winner for me.
Really?
No, I guess I can't say that yet, but
yeah,
I really wanted this one.
I'd say like still a 3 though for me.
I need another bite. I will say I am a chocolate person.
Yeah.
So.
I can never tell if I like that they make the cookie peanut butter and then put peanut butter chips and chocolate chips, or if I don't like that so much.
I love it. I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I do like peanut butter, but I don't know. Peanut butter cookies are not always my go-to.
A 4.5.
Oh my gosh.
I really love it.
That is so interesting to me. What are you thinking next?
I'll let you pick.
I kind of think cinnamon square.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get into cinnamon things a lot more.
I love cinnamon things. Yeah, this is just a pillowy.
Ooh, that's a good word. Pillowy. Sorry, guys.
Just pillowy goodness. Cinnamony, pillowy goodness.
I wish it were warmer.
Oh, yeah. You could probably heat it up.
Yep. That would solve that problem. I give that a 4.5.
Oh my gosh.
What?
I'm just surprised. I don't know.
What are you surprised at?
I feel like I don't know you at all now.
I feel like you've said that to me like 7 times today.
What? Not that. What? When was the other time I said that?
When we're talking
One
about
other
our
time.
laundry.
I never said I feel like I didn't know you.
Okay, but you still gave me that look. Just for quick context, my husband and I are apparently the only married couple on planet Earth who don't share our laundry. We have separate bins.
They do their laundry. Like
we do
roommates.
our laundry separately, like roommates.
I'm just for clarity. I'm not saying you guys are roommates. I'm just saying as if you were like me and my roommate do our laundry. You guys do your own laundry.
Or just like normal people who wear their own clothes and wash them themselves.
I don't know. I can't.
We have 2 separate laundry. We do our own laundry with our own clothes. And Chris, for some reason, can't wrap her brain around this.
I don't know.
Anyway,
man.
let's try this other cookie. This is the maple sandwichy one.
Mm-hmm.
I love a sandwich cookie.
Ugh. It's so mapley.
It really is.
I was not expecting it to be this mapley.
Why are they going so fall?
Right?
In April.
Idiots.
You know? I'm not as good at reviewing food as I thought I would be. I'm good at eating food. I'm not good at reviewing it.
You know, I like the flavor, but I don't think I love the texture.
I like the texture. It's softer than like the inspiration.
I do like that about it, but
it's very sweet.
It's very sweet.
Hurts my teeth a little bit.
Honestly, I'm gonna say a 3. I know.
You started off so excited.
I know.
See,
that's what I'm talking about. I saved the thing that I thought I wanted most for last, and it's like not the thing I love the most on this plate. I think the cinnamon square was my favorite. And then probably birthday cake, and then maple, and then PB.
I think my favorite was PB, and then maple, and then cinnamon.
If you guys want to challenge your friendships, just try cookies together.
Okay, you're like making me feel like I'm such a weirdo.
No,
I feel like that's part of the reason why I came in so hot when I was like, yeah, Chris doesn't drink her beverages. That's so weird. Because she made me feel really weird about the laundry thing. And so at the top of the podcast, I'm like, isn't it so crazy?
No, I'm not saying.
Why can't just relax? Okay.
It's like what we're talking about of like your perception of people is just never fully true. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's just interesting when things happen that shift your perception.
I'm not surprised by this at all.
Really?
No, we have such different taste buds. We never order the same things.
That's true.
At any restaurant ever.
Do you know what's really funny to me is
what?
Almost every single time Evan and I go out to dinner or like ice cream or something, we always are gonna get the same thing. Like
That's
almost
so weird.
always.
That's wild.
He always asks me, he's like, what are you gonna get? And then I say it, and then he's like, and I'm like, were you gonna get that? And he was like, I can find something else. And I'm
See, no,
Ian
and I we have to get different things. Not because we always want different things, but because we want to be able to try each other's food. And so it's like, you have to get something different than I am.
No, but that's the thing. We don't even try each other's food every time. He just, like, can't do it. Like, my brother's the same way. He cannot go to a restaurant with anybody and get the same thing as anybody else.
I weirdly understand that. Logically, I don't, but, like, in my soul, I understand that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Another thing that I weirdly understand, but not logically necessarily, is Taylor Swift and the love of her. Man, I'm so good at segues. I just watched an episode of The Office on
Buckle up.
Our shared Peacock account.
Yeah. Were you on your profile or my profile? Okay, good.
My profile. And not gonna make that mistake again. No, but like, so The Office has super fan episodes on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like I'm watching a new show because, like, there's all this stuff that I've never seen before. But there's just this one part. I don't even remember what he was saying, but Kevin goes, like, I'm really good at segues. Like, because he, like, asked someone for their food, like, in the middle of a conversation. He was like, can I have your food?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm really good at segues. So I'm feeling that energy right now.
I love it.
But, so as we're recording, Taylor Swift's newest album, her 11th studio album.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Her 11th studio album is due to come out in just a few days. By the time you're hearing this, it will have come out that day. So what are you doing? Turn off our podcast, go listen to the Taylor Swift album,
and then come back.
Well, actually, come back next week because we have to do I'm sorry, whatever we decided to talk about. No. We have to do a follow-up on next week because I need to talk about my thoughts.
I was thinking that when we listen to the album, we should try to write one word after each song and then, like, share them on the podcast.
Oh my God, you are my soup snake. I love you.
Yes. Okay, sweet.
Okay, so I'm at 1% battery. This is
or nor.
Or nor. Here, I'm gonna send it to you.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
I can use your Anyway, okay. Next week we will do a follow-up part during our episode with our thoughts about the new album. But as of right now, it has not come out yet. So one of the things I wanted to do, which I wish we had honestly recorded something different a while ago, because one time when the track list came out, I went through and I told Chris all the track titles, and
that would have been so
cool. What could have been? You'll never know.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna do that. But what I thought I could do, since we are lying in wait for the new album, I'm so excited.
I'm actually really excited too.
It's the vibes are very collegiate and very, like, academic, which I am in my last year of college, so I am feeling those
kismet.
vibes.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it feels very kismet for me. Real or imaginary, it's what it is. But I thought that I would talk about my current ranking. So I was just telling Chris, I actually found my ranking from when Midnights came out, and I re-ranked all the albums right after it came out. And it's very different from my ranking today. So I feel like the top, like, 3 stay the same, and then my one that's in 10th place stays the same, and then the other, like, 6 kind of float around.
Okay.
So as much as it pains me to see some of these so low on the list, just know that, like, at one point they were higher. And it changes all the time. Yeah. So if you don't care about Taylor Swift, I'm so sorry. I do. So I want to talk about this. Chris doesn't really care about Taylor Swift, but she is willing to listen to me talk about it, which I am so grateful for in our friendship. But so these are, Taylor Swift has 10 albums, and currently, without Tortured Poets, this is my ranking. And we'll come at you next week with the revised list for the 11 album. But so in the number 10 spot, we have her debut album. So this is
her self-titled
album. So this, the teardrops on my guitar. So, okay, this is by no means a bad album. It's a good album. She released it when she was 16 years old, which is insane. Yeah. But it is very twangy, and it's re-listenability is not super high.
It's her
for
country
me.
Of, like,
her most
country. Yeah.
Yes. And honestly, like, I wonder if she feels the same way, because she hasn't re-recorded it yet. It's one of 2 albums that she hasn't re-recorded.
What's the other one?
Reputation. But she's been teasing the release of Reputation.
I feel like she would.
But I'm just so curious of if she's going to That's 1989, but whatever. But I'm just so curious if she's actually going to try to re-release this one, or if she's just going to let it fade into oblivion.
Reputation?
No, debut.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah.
Because it's the only one that doesn't have a spot on the Eras tour. So all her other albums have specific spots on the Eras tour.
True.
And her self-titled does not have its own spot on the Eras tour. So I'm wondering if she's just trying to kind of let it go, because it's the least like her other albums. Yeah. Like, even her albums that are still country, like, after the fact, just fit more in with her sound and with her songwriting, and this one is just kind of the odd man out.
Is Teardrops the main, like, really popular song off? Wasn't there one other one,
There was like 3 other ones. It depends on who you ask. Well, because so there's Our Song. Our Song.
Oh, yes. I did like that one.
That was like the first Taylor Swift song I ever heard.
Wow.
Because my brother, that was his ringtone for his ex-wife. And so that's what I remember the most about it. But so Our Song, and then there's Picture to Burn.
Oh, yep. Okay, there it is.
Should Have Said No.
Oh, those are all on the oh my gosh.
And then one of my favorites, which is her first ever single, is Tim McGraw.
Oh,
When you think Tim McGraw.
Yeah,
I love that song. There's a lot of like, those are really good songs. Like, those are, like, there's nothing to be ashamed, but it just, compared to her other stuff, like, it just is not the album that I'm listening to the most.
Right.
So no disrespect to Self-Titled, but it is in the number 10 spot for me, and was also in the number 10 spot 2 years ago.
Probably will always be.
Probably will always be.
Unless, I don't know, maybe Tortured Poets is gonna be terrible.
Maybe. I'm nervous.
Oh. What?
So everyone's saying that it's getting leaked on TikTok. I've been avoiding it like the plague. But the snippets that I've heard sound like
Midnights.
No, it just sounds terrible.
Oh no.
It just is not good. But it also sounds kind of like AI. And so I'm wondering if people are just putting in AI and being like, it's a leak.
I wouldn't put too much stock in it.
I'm not going to keep talking about it because I don't want to blaspheme the queen. Just kidding. But like, if it sounds the way that one snippet sounded, I'm not going to like it.
I have a hot take.
Okay. Is that what you were going?
No, that's not what I was going. I just have a sense that I feel like this could quite possibly be the Taylor Swift album that I love and that you hate.
Ooh.
I don't know why.
That would be interesting. But I do think you'll be mad at me for this one.
Why?
So in number 9.
No!
It's 19.
No! How?
I knew this one would be so upsetting.
How? Tell me how. No.
Okay, like I said.
I swear 1989 would probably be my top one.
I know. And Ian's too. Ian loves 19. Okay, so again, disclaimer, the middle 6 do kind of move around a lot, and I by no means think any of them are bad. Like, none of them, like, I love and listen to all of them pretty much except for Debut. I still love the songs off of Debut, but it's just not something I've put on. I do put on 1989 sometimes.
Okay.
But it's just, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, but it's just not my favorite. It's just not my favorite. There's a lot of songs that, it's funny because one of my favorite, I'm not going to go into this episode. I feel like I say that every episode and I end up going into it anyway. But when we talk about just songs, Style is in my top 10 favorite songs of Taylor Swift. I love
Style.
And one of my least favorite songs is
what?
Off of an album that is ranked much higher. So it's not.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's like the albums and the songs are all very different. And so ranking albums versus songs is just like, it's just more of like a gut thing.
Yeah.
So just 1989 is the least like interesting to me. It has the least amount of songs that I come back to and that I resonate really deeply with. 1989 actually came out my senior year of high school. So I have a lot of great memories of like driving to school early in the morning and listening to that album. Like, it's a great album, and it's actually one of her Grammy Award winning albums. It's very good. Like, I understand why people love it. I love the sound, like the 80s. It's great. But it's just, when I made this ranking, it just didn't make the cut.
You know, the song has been stuck in my head for the last couple of days is, I don't know what it's called, but it's the one where she's like, you can hear it in the silence.
You Are in Love.
Yeah. I love that song.
I know you do.
So
I literally was just thinking about that. I'm like, oh, Chris loves You Are in Love.
It gets stuck in my head randomly.
That is
pretty often.
I would say if I had to pick a top like 3 off that album, You Are in Love is one of my favorites.
It just makes me feel things.
I don't love like Blank Space, and I don't love Shake It Off.
Okay, I agree with Shake It Off.
Blank Space is fine. I don't have
I know. It's like Blank Space was the poppy radio hit, and it probably probably is an understatement. It did get overplayed.
Oh, for sure.
But I still love it.
How did my Crumbl cookie just ask me how my cookies were? Oh, this is your I was like so freaked out. I'm like, I did not pay for these. What is it? How does it know? I'm holding Chris's phone. That's why. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. The confusion in your eyes.
It was, yeah. It kind of. I was like, even if she put my name on it, like I wouldn't go to my account. Like I was confused, but for a dumb reason. So no, off of 1989, I love Style.
Into the Woods or
Out of the Woods.
Okay. Out of the Woods. Sorry, I know. Out of
Quasi
the Woods.
Swiftie over here. I'm just kidding.
I
do love Out of the Woods.
what I am.
I love Style and I love Wildest Dreams. I think are my two favorites.
I do love Wildest Dreams too.
But the other ones, like I don't love I Wish You Would. I don't love.
I do really like I Wish
I
You
know
Would.
you do.
I do really like that one.
There's just a lot of skips for me. So as an album,
I do think there are quite a few skips for me as well. But the ones that I like, I really, really, really like.
Yeah. And that's true of my number 2 album, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
So my number 8 album is Midnights.
Okay.
This grieves me because I felt like I was going to be so connected to Midnights. I was so excited for it. I had a dream that one day, okay. I had a dream. So Taylor Swift announced Midnights at the VMAs in 2022, and 2 nights before the VMAs happened, I had a dream that I met Taylor Swift in like a public building. It was like a government building. It was like the White House or something. And I was just there, and she was also just there, and we kind of ran into each other in this hallway, and I was like, oh my God, I love you so much. And she was like, oh my God, like that's so nice. Like, do you want to see the photos from the new album? She's like, I have a new album coming out. No one knows about it yet. But like, do you want to see photos? And I'm like, yes. So she pulls out her phone and shows me photos of the new album. And I swear, you guys, I saw the Midnights photos in my dreams. Okay. 2 nights before she even announced it. Months before the photos came out. Now, granted, that is months that my brain could alter these photos to be whatever. But I remember thinking they were like 60s, 70s style color palette and theming. In my dream, that was what happened. And then she announced it. Anyway, it was a very I'm not actually saying that, but you know, it just was a fun little like stupid thing that happened, and it made me really excited. Like, this is gonna be my album. Like, I knew it was coming. I have a psychic connection to this album, and I do think Midnights is really great. Like I said, the middle 6 all move around, and I love them all at different times. But there are a lot of skips for me. Like, I really hate Question. Everyone loves Question.
I do like that one.
Can I ask you a question? And then I hate High Infidelity, which is a bonus track, but I hate that song. I don't like Glitch. I don't like
I don't even remember that one.
There's just so many songs. Like, there's a couple songs that I really like, but most songs are just mid for me.
Paris
is great.
And Sweet Nothings.
Just wanted to bite your finger. Yeah, Sweet Nothing is great. I really love Snow on the Beach. I love You're on Your Own, Kid. And I love Vigilante Shit. Which is a hot take. Not most people don't like Vigilante Shit, but I love it. I'm gonna growl about it.
It is her. I don't know. That sends me back to like Reputation vibes.
Yes, very much so. And it just kind of, because I am just like the most tame, like vanilla person that you'll ever meet. And so, but I got to get out my naughtiness in a song sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
So Vigilante Shit does that for me.
Yeah.
But like, there's just a lot of songs that I'm just like, oh yeah, like this is a song. And I think it's a great album, but it's just not my favorite. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Number 7, we're taking too long to do this, is number 7 is Reputation. This order killed me because
what
it's just this is the first one that I really, so I feel like it all kind of came down to 2s really, of like Midnights and 1989 are kind of on the same level for me, and then this one and the next one are kind of, I had a real connection about like which one that was gonna go first. But I think Reputation like has almost no skips for me. Like it is so good and I love it. Chris is just
I'm just shocked.
Everything that has come out of my mouth today, Chris has
know.
been surprised by. But I love Reputation. I think it's a great album. Vibe wise, it's not my vibe at all. Like just aesthetically. Like which I do take into account when ranking albums. Is just like aesthetically, how do I match up with the vibe of this album?
Interesting.
And so I don't really match up with 1989. Midnights I love the vibe of, but just the songs were not my favorite.
Right.
And then Reputation is like not, I'm not a badass wearing black with snakes. Like that's not my thing. And so like just vibe wise, it's not my favorite album. But as far as songs go, I do love all the songs. And I can only think of like, I'm trying to think if there's any skips. And like I sometimes skip So It Goes, but I do love So It Goes. And yeah, I think that's kind of it.
Wow.
So I think it's a great album. Highly recommend. I got to go to the Reputation tour with my mom. So lots of good memories there. All right. But I have a hard time putting this one above it because I love it so much. But this one won out purely because of nostalgia. Oh. And that is Fearless. So number 6 is Fearless.
Whoa.
Fearless was my first Taylor Swift album. So I joined the fandom. I feel weird saying that. I first started listening to Taylor Swift during her original Fearless album cycle. And so that was my first album of hers. And I love it. It's one of her other Grammy Award winning albums. And I think that while she's definitely matured in her songwriting since this era, I think it's a really great, well-written album. And I like a lot of the nostalgic feelings I get when I listen to the album. Should it be below Reputation? Maybe. These two I'm like, I feel so like flippy floppy about.
What is the cover of Fearless?
It's her swishing her hair. It's like golden.
Okay.
And it is more country. And there's some songs on it that like production wise aren't my favorite. But the way I'm talking about it, I feel like Reputation should go first.
That's what I feel like too. But
yeah, all right. So maybe Fearless at number 7 and Reputation Reputation at number 6. But the Fearless era is like not my personal vibe, like album, but I think just because of nostalgia, it means a lot to me, and I love the album. All right, so this gets a little hairy, guys. It's getting a little hairy.
We're getting down to the
because this album, I was shocked. This album was number 9 2 years ago, and now it's number 5.
Whoa!
Yeah,
a 4-space jump.
I don't understand how.
Who
this happened.
Is she?
And it's because it swapped places with 1989.
Is it Speak Now?
It's Speak
Now. Are you
Now.
kidding me?
I know.
What on earth are you thinking?
I don't.
What is her title track off of Speak Now? Speak Now?
Wow.
What's her main track off of Speak Now?
The main track? I don't know.
Like the most popular.
Well, we were gypped on the Eras tour. There is only one song
from Speak Now. Your number 5 favorite album? 4 favorite album?
Number 5. It's Enchanted. Oh. It's so good. Just one of the best songs ever.
I was enchanted to meet you. Please don't be
okay, I know you're making fun of me, but that bridge,
I do. No, I do love it.
I love it. I love it so much.
I actually do really like that. That gets stuck in my head a lot too.
Like 14-year-old me listening to that song for the first time in my room at night by myself and experiencing true emotion for the first time in my life. Like it was very impactful. So I think the re-release of Speak Now really invigorated it in my mind.
Okay.
And as far as vibes go, vibes are 10 out of 10 immaculate. Give me all the purple, give me all the fairy tale vibes, give me all the whimsical like 1920s like Edison bulbs like in the trees. Fairy lights, like that is Speak Now, and that is my vibe. I want to live in it forever, and especially the photo shoot that she redid for the re-release. Ugh, so good. But she wrote this album completely by herself, because when Fearless became so popular and she won a Grammy for it, she was like the youngest female to ever win a Grammy, and people were like, well,
so sorry about that.
People were like, oh, well, it's her co-writers, like she's not actually writing these songs, like it's her co-writers. And so, being the vindictive little girl that she was, which I can relate to, she was like, well, I'm gonna write a song, and I'm gonna write an album, and I'm gonna have 0 co-writers so that they can't like say that about me. And so I just think that's pretty cool. And so Speak Now has 0 co-writers. It is all 100% Taylor Swift, and the songs are incredible. There are some amazing tragedy, heartbreak songs, like Last Kiss. Last Kiss will tear your bowels out and choke you with them.
Oh my gosh.
It is so sad. It is a sad song. But then there's just some great, like, I don't know, just like fun. Story of Us is so hype and great. And then Mine. So I started listening to Taylor Swift during the Fearless era. And so the first like release that I was aware of was Speak Now.
Okay.
And so I remember when she released Mine was the lead single off of that album. And I watched her live stream of it. So it was on the TV.
Oh,
it was like
gosh.
broadcasted on cable television. And she was like I think she was at the Bush's home, like President Bush.
What?
Because she filmed the music video for this song for Mine in Maine, where like the Bushes have like a summer home, and she was like had like a group of fans like at the Bushes home, I think. I don't remember, maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but I just remember she had like a group of fans and she's premiering her video, and it was on cable TV, and I watched the premiere of this music video and I loved it so much. So I'm like 13 maybe, and I went onto YouTube and I didn't save it, but I watched it enough time and paused it so that I could see all the outfits she was wearing in the video. And my 8th grade class took a trip to Washington, D.C. And as all 8th grade classes do, I don't know why, but I planned my outfits so that they would match the outfits in her music video.
Love it.
That's how lame I am. I did that. But so it was very exciting for me. I was very excited. And I remember my grandma taking me to the store the day that the album came out, for me to buy a physical copy of it.
Oh yeah.
And it was very exciting. And so I think I'm coming into my own as a Swiftie of just being less embarrassed to talk about it, because people can be really mean, honestly. Like, like I know Swifties are like insane and kind of annoying and like whatever, but people are really mean.
They really are.
And I used to not really advertise about myself how much I love Taylor Swift. I do love Taylor Swift a lot, and part of the reason I love her so much is just because like she is such like a memory holder for me of just like, I love her music now and currently, but I also like every album release holds like memories of like being in middle school and Speak Now coming out, and then my senior year of high school and 1989 coming out, and it just is this like lifelong like scrapbook of like my life as well. And so like I do think Taylor Swift is an amazing performer, songwriter. I do genuinely still love her music, but she also is completely nostalgic for me, and just all of my childhood, adolescent memories are attached to her music. And so
see, I don't have any artists like that. All of my nostalgic artists, like I don't really listen to them anymore because I don't like their music anymore. And that's kind of a bummer, you know? I mean, it's kind of fun to find new artists and stuff, but I don't really have I don't have that where I'm able to like say, oh, this is so nostalgic, and currently am still invested.
A music that I enjoy listening to.
So that's really cool.
So that's Speak Now. Sorry. I told you this would take way too long.
No, it's fine. This is our time.
This is my time to shine.
This is our time, and we can spend it how we want.
But okay, so Speak Now, number 5, tentatively.
Oh no.
I'm kidding. Number 4, Lover. I hate the name Lover.
Really?
So dumb. I love the song Lover, but Taylor Swift,
Sorry.
When she released the music video for Me, which was the lead single, off, which we've talked about, she picks terrible lead singles. I love the girl, but her lead singles are just bad choices usually. And so the lead single for Lover was Me, and the I do love Me. No one else does.
That's so
no one else loves
me.
Me. But I do think it was a poor choice for a lead single. So in the music video for Me, she was like, the name of the album is like hidden somewhere in the music video. And in one of the shots, she's like on a rooftop, and on one of the buildings like behind her, like there's a sign that says Lover, and everyone's like, is it Lover? And she's like, nobody's guessed it yet, nobody's found it yet, and everyone's like, oh, so it must not be Lover then, because we all saw it like immediately.
Oh, no.
But she was like, yeah, no one's guessed it yet, and then it was turned out to be Lover, and it's just not a strong title. Like, it's grown on me now because that's just the name of what it is. But why am I saying it's my fourth favorite and I'm like immediately just hating on it? The songs are all amazing. Let me just say that it's her longest album.
Really?
I don't think Tortured Poets is going to be longer, but it has something like 18 songs on it.
Oh my gosh.
And I think it's just really great. The vibes, the aesthetic of it, I love.
The dreamy, like, golden hour. Yeah.
The pinks and the blues and all of that. I just love it. I think it has some of her best songs on it. I don't have a lot to say about it. I just think it's a great album. And here we go. This is the final three, the top three, and these ones don't change. So it's the number 10 debut hasn't changed for a while, and these ones haven't changed. So the all the other ones kind of float intermittently throughout and are just kind of based on my mood. But these are like my top solid three. Yeah. So number 3 is Red.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember the other. I know like the top 2, but I couldn't remember the third one.
Yeah. So number 3 is Red. I just think that it is an incredible album. I don't have very good formulated thoughts. I had these 2 ideas. I'm like, oh, Crumbl Cookie and Taylor Swift, those are things I'll have so much to say about. And now I'm like, it's good. Cookie good, music good. It's good. No, but I think that it's not a like super sonically cohesive album. Like there's a lot going on, and I think that ultimately hurt it in the like critical world.
Okay.
But some of her best, like State of Grace is just one of the best songs.
That's the one that's on? Okay.
Yeah. All Too Well, which is completely overplayed at this point, but that was like my favorite song when it first came out. All Too Well, and then Treacherous and Sad, Beautiful, Tragic, and my ultimate favorite song of all time is on this album. My favorite song of all time.
Oh, no. Don't tell me. Hold on. No, I do know this, but it's like way back in my brain. Hold on. She's wearing a beret and they're in Paris.
She's not wearing a beret.
Yeah, she's wearing a hat. She's wearing a hat.
She's not.
In the music video.
She never wears a hat in the music video.
He wears
Trust
a hat.
me, I've seen it.
He
no
wears a hat?
No one is wearing
a hat.
No.
No,
Oh
I know.
my
No, I
God.
know this. I know this. Do not tell me.
I'm
I
not
swear
going
if you tell
to.
me, it's over.
Okay.
Shoot. Hold on.
It's 2 words.
She meets him at the restaurant and he pulls out the chair. He's like, oh, this is so nice that you did that for me. Oh, I know it. I know it. Wait, don't say it. Give me a hint.
It's something you would say like to a student when they did something wrong. That's not gonna help you at all. Like
Sit
if you were
down.
Yes, the Taylor Swift single "Sit Down." No, I can't think of any way.
Gosh dang it. Okay, just tell me. I'm gonna be so mad.
It's called "Begin Again." Also,
and then begin again. See, I know it. I do know it.
you did. Okay, so that's like my favorite song of all time.
Yeah.
My top Taylor Swift song, possibly my favorite song of all time. it's the actual loving the music and loving the aesthetic, because that was when she was in her like 50s housewife era, which just gagged me. That was so good. I loved it. And I also dressed like a 50s housewife in high school because I thought it was so cool.
I know.
And I just absolutely loved it. I ate it up, and I have a lot of nostalgic personal memories attached to that song specifically, and also just the album, just memories with my dad, and just some certain things that happened around the time that album came out that were really special to me. So it was my top number one for a long time, until 2020 to be exact. It was my number one until 2020, which segues into our final two. Number 2 is Evermore. I could throw up. I love Evermore so much. It's so good.
Yeah, it really is.
It kills me. Now, I do think her worst song of all time is on Evermore.
I agree.
Which
worse than me, which is saying something.
It's Closure. I don't think Closure is a good song, and I don't know how it made it onto this album. But
it's actually just not a good song.
If it brought her closure, girl, do whatever you want to do. But I don't like it. But here's the thing. Evermore has a couple skips. But the song, it's like you were saying with 1989.
Right.
The songs that I love.
Just are,
I love. Okay, so Willow, Champagne Problems, Tolerate It.
Champagne Problems.
So low, I can't hit it.
I know.
'Tis the Damn Season kills me.
That's a good one.
So good. Coney Island, Cowboy Like Me. Oh my god, I love Cowboy Like Me. It's just, there's a lot of really good songs on there, and there are a couple skips, but I just love Evermore. It's just such a good album. It gives me all the good vibes. I just love it. I want to live in that universe forever. Although I would take a trip to the sister album, which is my number one favorite. You probably guessed it. It's Folklore. I will never not love Folklore.
Folklore is really good.
It's just, everything about it is so perfect to me. The aesthetic of it, like the era itself, the way that her marketing and like album photo shoots, all of that is very pleasing to me. But just the music itself, I love her storytelling style, and just all the songs are so good. There's like no skips for me. Which is different than Evermore, like I was saying. But Folklore doesn't have any skips for me.
Is Champagne Problems on
Evermore?
Oh,
Champagne Problems is so good.
Is August on Folklore? Is that also okay?
August is on Folklore.
I really like that one.
That one is a classic. I really don't have like anything intelligent to say beyond this point, but Folklore takes it home. I love it was her first ever surprise album.
Ooh.
I love a surprise.
Yeah, right.
So we'll just start off on a great note. It's just all around, all the things I love about Taylor Swift is wrapped up in Folklore. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think Folklore and Evermore are her best like easy listening albums. Like you can just kind of put them on in the background and it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
All right. So
sweet. Okay.
That was my ranking.
So next time we talk to you though, we will review our thoughts on the new album, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tortured Poets Department.
Yeah.
We'll see where it falls in.
I know.
The ranking.
It'll be interesting. So we'll come at you next week with some updated ranking lists and other good soup.
Until then, stay soupy.
Stay soupy.